Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is just going to be a quick one going over the camping gear that I used in my recent solo trip to the Victorian high country. I'm about to pack it away here in the garage, and I thought why not run through it because I did receive a few questions about the different items and pieces of gear that I use while camping and some of the luggage that I use to carry it on the bike. So yeah, I'm going to just jump into it. I'll probably categorize it in the timeline on YouTube, and I'll probably link to some of the stuff down below. So yeah, if you're interested in anything, you can go check it out and get it for yourself. So yeah, let's get started. Alrighty, so first up we've got the swag that I use, which is the Oz Tent ULS1. I've just picked this up recently. It was the first time using it and I found it great. Did the job, nice and compact, easy to set up as opposed to the tent. I do still have the tent, which I'll use if there's going to be rain, because I feel like the canvas material and just the way that it slopes isn't ideal for being in the rain, but for anything else, awesome. And one of the benefits about it is that I also roll up the mattress in here. So I use one of the Cedar Summit mattresses, which I will again link to because I'm not going to pull it out of this. But that Cedar Summit mattress is perfect. It blows up so quickly. It's just like a self-inflating, or you blow into it. You use like a pump sack thing, and that worked really well. But both of those in combination work perfect, nice and compact. And if I'm using my small sleeping bag, I can actually fit that all in this one pack and just put that on the back of the bike. And this actually isn't very heavy. Like, I know a lot of other swags are 3-4 kilos. This tips in just over 2, I believe. So awesome. I want to test it a bit more though, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm thinking for a lot of the summer trips, I think I will use this when there's no rain. But I did notice that it gets quite warm in there, so we'll see how that goes. It does have a zip opening on the top to let air out, which I didn't have open on this trip. But yeah, loved it. So I mentioned the sleeping bag before. I've got a few different ones I use. This is just a Denali one from Anaconda. It goes down to -2 comfort rating, so it's pretty good, but a bit warm in winter. But it is a bit thick. Being a cheaper one, you pay the price for it. So for this trip, I actually just stuffed it in the bottom of my Nelson rig bag, which I'll talk to in the luggage section, rather than having it in the sleeping bag case that it comes in. I just feel like I've got a bit more versatility with how I pack everything, and I can just really squish it down there with everything else on top. So yeah, nothing special, just a cheapo Denali, and does the job, keeps me warm, and it's quite wide and spacious, which is nice. These are some of the other ones I have, quite a lot smaller in their cases. The other one is almost the same size as both of these combined, but these are very narrow, so they're not the most comfortable. One's the Denali and the other one is a Roman. I don't know, I just picked them up when they're on special and they seem to do the job. This one's actually very small, it's tiny, 5-degree comfort rating, so it's a good summer one, other than the fact that it's a little bit narrow, so it's not the most comfortable. But moving on. And the last sleeping item is the Denali Base Camp pillow. Back in the day, I never used to use a pillow. I used to just bunch up a bunch of things, stuff a jumper in the sleeping bag case, but once you go to the pillow, you never go back. Again, this is just a El Cheapo from Anaconda. Does the job, quite comfortable, and I wouldn't camp without it now. In the future, I'm keen to try some different ones, but for now, no point in changing it. So that's all the sleeping stuff. Let's move on. Next up is the chair that I use. It's a Spinifex Daylight. I believe I picked this up from Anaconda as well, and it just pops out, and it's quite compact. So nothing special. It's not the lightest thing. I know the Halinox chairs, they're quite a bit lighter, so I will eventually upgrade, but I think I paid like $35 or $40 for this on sale, and I've used it now for 10 plus trips, and it's been perfect. It's actually quite comfortable. Like, before I had one of those ones that was just like 4 legs and you just sit on top with no backrest. That was not comfortable at all. Like, I'd rather carry something a little bit heavier and bigger and be able to sit down and cook and everything in comfort. So yeah, don't plan to upgrade it anytime soon, but maybe before a Simpson trip where every kilo that you save is a big difference, I'll probably upgrade to the Halanox. This is something that I don't see everyone bringing with them on trips, but it's a bike cover. I got this from Andy Straps, which is an Australian company, and I bought this before my Flinders Rangers trip because I didn't want the wool seat cover getting wet when I parked it for the night. But I bought this on my latest trip, and I love it. Like, it's so small, you can squish it, it compacts down, and it just covers the bike so that if there's dew or rain overnight, the bike's not wet, and I actually cover the bike and there's space between the cover and the seat, and I just put all my gear on top of there rather than having to put it in the swag or in a vestibule on the tent. So perfect. I'm going to continue to bring this along with me on all my trips because it doesn't take up much weight. It weighs like 300 grams at most, I reckon, and just a very versatile piece of equipment. All right, for the cooking, I've seen a lot of people use these. It's just a gas canister. I've got a Coleman burner which just screws on top, and then I bring a lighter with me. I bring 2 lighters just in case one fails. I probably should bring flint or something, but you know, 2 lighters, it's probably unlikely to fail, but maybe if you're going real remote, maybe worthwhile bringing flint. Now that all sits in this 360 degrees cooker pot thing, so you can do all your cooking, boil your water, and then the Pro Fuel gas just sits in there, lid closes, and then I've got just a case that all of this I chuck in together and packs away quite nicely. To go along with the cooking stuff, I've just got like a spork. Could probably get something that's a little bit smaller, but it does the job. It's like $1, I think. This is something I'm going to upgrade. This is just a mug, a metal mug. It takes up quite a lot of space, and I recently saw that Cedar Summit sell collapsible mugs. I think that's going to be way better than this because, you know, it takes up a lot of space, so a collapsible mug makes a lot of sense. In terms of the food that I used, I mentioned it in the video, but it's just some, I think they're freeze dried or some meals where you just pour the water, boiling water in here and you eat it out of the bag. These are the Radix nutrition ones. Again, I picked this up from Anaconda, like 95% of the stuff that I have. But yeah, it's super, like, don't have to clean up, the 360 degrees pot. So they're just super handy. A little bit expensive, but you pay for that convenience. Something super important is a first aid kit, and I made sure to get a really comprehensive one that's got everything that you need. And this is the Survival Emergency Solutions one. Again, I bought this before the Flinders Rangers trip. It includes a snake bite kit, and pretty much everything that you need to deal with most things that you encounter. It is a bit big, so maybe for the Simpson Desert trip I might pack it down and take some of the stuff that you don't need in there. But if you've got the space, like, why not bring everything that you need? But I haven't had to use it, but I'm really happy with it because the peace of mind that it's got everything that I need. So if you do get one and it's got the snake bite kit, make sure you look up how to use it, because prior to getting it, I didn't know how to use it, and it is quite particular with how you go about that. This kit includes the Smart, I think it's called Smart Bandage, which shows you how much pressure you need to apply by tensioning on the bandage itself. So that's a really interesting thing, and I think it's going to be helpful for myself, having never learnt how to or needed to treat a snake bite. So yeah, look up on YouTube, plenty of videos on how to use them. Obviously need the bog roll, pretty self-explanatory. The other thing I bring is just wet wipes. I grab a whole bunch of them and put them in a Ziploc. These are great for, you know, wiping your face, cleaning yourself up at night. All right, lastly, probably some of the most important stuff is the tools that I bring and spare parts. and the electronics. So I'll start with just grabbing random things, but here's the PLB that I bring with me. It's the ACR Res Q-Link. This just gives me peace of mind that if something happens, I've got no reception or service, I'm able to get help. So if you're solo camping, 100% get one of these. Doesn't have to be this brand, but just any kind of PLB, emergency beacon, EPIRB, Garmin InReach, they all do the same thing. Some have better capabilities, but get one. Head torch, Anaconda Special, $10 I think. Bring spare batteries as well though, because you don't want your torch dying. I bring a spare front tube. These can be used in the rear. It is a heavy duty one. For something like a Simpson Desert trip, I'll probably bring standard tubes because they are smaller, but for just an overnighter, bringing one heavy duty tube is probably enough to get you out of trouble. Here I've got a hatchet. This can double as self-defense and for cutting wood. You can use a saw and bring a knife for self-defense if you need it, but being in Australia, that's probably not the biggest concern. But a saw is good as well because you can get the foldable ones, and that's very compact as opposed to the axe, which is quite heavy. But yeah, pick whatever you want. Duct tape and electrical tape, pretty self-explanatory. Duct tape can be used for a lot of things, and electrical tape, same thing. And I've got a tool roll belt here. I'm not going to talk about everything in particular, but I've got sockets, breaker bars, pliers, multi-tools, everything that you need to change a tyre, a hand pump if you need to inflate the tyre. Sometimes, depending on, because I've got two bikes here, one's tubeless, one's tubed. If I'm riding my V-Strom, which is tubeless, I'll bring a tyre repair kit which has the plunging tool, whatever you want, the reamer, and the little ropes. But for the WR, I don't bring that. I do have the spare tube, but I also bring a tube repair kit, which isn't actually here. It sits in the fender bag, and also in the fender bag, which I'm not going to pull it out, but it's got a It's got a spare clutch lever in there, some zip ties, which I do have some zip ties in here as well, and some spare bungee cord in case the straps that I use to secure the luggage break. But yeah, that's the tools. Bring what you need specific to your bike. Make sure that you've gone over your bike, you've checked every socket, every Allen head, and you've got the exact matching tools for that. I've also got the stock toolkit on the bike, which can actually take off 99% of things on the bike, other than some of the aftermarket stuff that I put on. So I think, oh yeah, electronics. I bring a power bank, all of the charging cords that I need, all the stuff on my GoPro, and yeah, that's all you need. The power bank is for me super important because I'm doing the recording, but not necessary like if you've got charging on your bike, but it's nice to have. That's a 20,000 milliamp Signet one, does the job. Alright, and lastly we've just got the luggage. I use Nelson Rig stuff because it's quite cheap and it serves me well. I've got the Nelson Rig Enduro tank bag, which the electronics go in. I've got one of their waterproof re-bags, I think you roll it up. I might, for bigger trips, have the one that you can access from on top, just for ease of access to the stuff in there, but this is quite compact and works really well. And I use I think they're the Enduro saddlebags, or dual sport saddlebags. These are perfect, like super light. I've used them on plenty of trips, and I can fit everything that I've shown you within this setup. Other than, like I mentioned, the swag sits on its own with everything packed in there. If I am packing the tent, then I'll pack the tent in one of these bags as well. And these were the best investment that that I've got for the whole kit, and they are rock straps. I just used two of them to tie down the rear bag and the swag and everything, and they work super well. So much better than the straps that come with the luggage, the Nelson rig luggage. I'll probably get some spares though to bring with me in case they do break, but so far so good, they haven't broken, so I'll continue to use these ones, but probably worthwhile bringing some spares. Alright guys, well that's the kit. I've probably missed some stuff, but you got the general gist of it, the main items that were there, and this is probably going to evolve as I do more riding and plan for bigger trips. Like I mentioned, the Simpson Desert trip is potentially happening next year, so I'll probably look to condense some of this stuff, but so far this is doing the job, and I will continue to use this stuff going forward. But thanks for tuning in guys, and I will see you in the next video.